Welcome to the CFL Outsider, a short series of totally impartial hot takes, odd takes, and generally unconventional opinions on the CFL and Canadian football, with your host and presenter, Old Man Shouting at Clouds.
Hey kids, welcome back to the CFL Outsider, Week 10, Command Center Chaos. I remain, as always, your 100% unbiased, completely impartial, and totally confused host and presenter, Old Man Shouting at Clouds. I know the episode is called Command Center Chaos, but we're really not going to talk about that because everybody else is talking about it. And just to let you know, if you're new here, there's lots and lots of great podcasts out there that will do the wrap-ups of the week and cover all the talking points that's out there mostly covered. I figured there's no point in me trying to fit into that ecosystem, so my niche is I'm talking about things that I saw that don't get talked about so much. Just a different sort of look at the game for you, as it were. First off, hey, check it out. My new obsidian green jersey. You probably can't see the number here, but it's 63 for Mr. Logan Ferland, best young lineman in the CFL, and who may be kicking out to tackle, I hear. That'd be interesting to see how he does. So, how did I do last week with my fantasy and pick'em? Oh, and if you don't know, I do separate shows on that. I do Old Man Plays CFL Fantasy and Old Man Plays CFL Pick'em in under a minute. A quick little thing, just tells you my picks quick, maybe helps you out with it. On the other hand, I ain't done so good lately. I've got my fantasy score was 68.6, which for me lately has been a huge score, but we'll get into that a little bit. And I'm now at 28-12 on the pick'em. Apparently, the tie you get a point for. So they're saying I'm 28-12 there. Well, we'll get into the whole fantasy thing as I get down into this a little bit more. But first of all, I guess my rant this week is I'm really struggling with the tackling in this league. And this weekend was just a travesty, if you ask me. There were so many missed tackles. Ball carriers were running through tackles left, right, and center, and it's all this crap about the arm tackling, not getting in position, getting your arm tackling out, or not even trying to get into position, just trying to come in and throw this huge shoulder hit into somebody, into the legs or the chest, and it doesn't work well. And the thing is, you've got no control when you do that. If it works, great, you get a big hit, you're blowing him up. But if it doesn't, he's running and yours now down on the ground. So please, I don't know why defensive coordinators put up with this. Some people say it's the lack of padded practices. Well, maybe, but you can still practice form tackling on bags and on equipment. You can get in the place and teach yourself to do it. It seems like there's just no interest in it anymore. It's all about this, I don't know. I'm really not sure why a big hit is supposed to be such an amazing thing when you're giving up so much otherwise. I saw twice this weekend at least where there were players going into the end zone. A good solid wrap tackle would have had them down at the 1 or the 2, would have at least stopped a touchdown temporarily, and who knows what happens from there. Maybe you'd get big and stop it. But no, both cases they come in with this huge shoulder hit. Boom, I'm going to blow them up, and all they do is bounce them into the end zone. You know, so please, can we just do it right? The only explanation anyone's ever given me is I've been told some defenders don't like to wrap up because they may get their hands hurt around there. You know, there's other stuff going on. Well, you know a better way to not get your hands hurt? Don't play football. Leave it to the people who are willing to play it properly. Come on, if you're a tough defender, stop this crap. Let's just start going back to good, solid wrap tackling like we were all taught. You know, aim your head at the chest, slide as you're getting close, wrap up, take them down. I know you can't do that on every play, but if you get your arms around them, if you're at least trying to wrap, then you've got control over them. Is that enough of a rant? I don't know. I hope so. I don't want to be a negative Nelly about stuff, but geez, I hate seeing football at a professional level that is not being played well. Alrighty. On to this. So, what shall we talk? We'll talk about the things that I noticed in the game. So we'll go to the game one. Game one Thursday night. Saskatchewan 22 at Ottawa 22. The game that would not die. And again, I'm not going to talk about all that command center stuff at the end. That's why it wouldn't die. But you've heard about that. If you're here, you're enough of a CFL fan, you've probably heard about that, all that. If not, go and listen, to I don't know, to Two and Out with Travis and Sheldon, or listen to the Waggle, or better still, the Three Down Nation podcast. They'll cover off a lot of that for you with it. So anyway, I'm not going to go into that, but I will say about this game, the curse is still alive, unfortunately. If you've been here before, you know I've been talking about the fact the last few weeks my fantasy pick for quarterback keeps going wrong. I've had starting 5 weeks ago, I had Cody, who went out and had 5 points total. Then I had VA, who had, and this is doubled, by the way, because these are all my captains. So he actually had 2.5 up to 5. I'm giving you the double points. Then I had VA, where I scored a humongous 24.8 points. I didn't realize how spectacular that was at the time, because I went from him to MBT with 2.6 points, back to VA with 0.2 points, and then this last weekend, I said, well, if I'm taking people out, maybe I should sort of put that out there, see who it wants. And the league, the thread, I voted on, this was all on CFL Reddit, the CFL subreddit, I got the vote there, the thread said Drew Brown, so we all laughed about that, because of course this isn't real, it's just, I got no control over what happens in the league, right, but then Drew goes out in the first half. So I don't know, I'm starting to freak myself out. This is why my fantasy is so bad too, by the way, but I'm really starting to freak myself out here, and I'm kind of feeling bad about who I picked this weekend. Leave me a comment. Let me know who you think I should be picking, and take some of the pressure off of me. What else do I have? I know. I talked last week about Mike Rose out of Calgary with a fantastic bull rush sack right back into the quarterback. Rose has been doing that for years. This game, Caleb Sanders must have seen that, because he said, yeah, that works, and he did exactly the same thing. A second week in a row with just a great example of power football, imposing your will. I love it. And then there's the other side where it's not so pretty, but it works. Like at the end of the half, Sean Bean Jr. caught one pass like 3 times. Bobble. Is that 3 receptions? Is that 1 reception? I don't know how the stats work for sure, but there's that. And, at least he caught it. It was raining a downpour, a monsoon all night, and everybody was struggling, but the Riders receivers especially were just fighting the ball all night. And that doesn't make for great football. Even Logan Ferland, who I talked about, Logan Ferland, 63, best young Canadian lineman in the league, even he struggled right at the start. He didn't have a great beginning to the game. He picked it up and got better as the game went on. But even there, that happened. And let's see, what else do we have there? Oh, I like the second half kickoff. How do you pronounce your name here? Habaku? Hopefully I'm close to that. Baldonero, the global D lineman for the Riders. Downfield on the kickoff, couple of blockers in front of the carrier. How do you get through them? He just tackled all 3. That's the football I love to see too, yeah. And let's see, I think this shows again, football is not and has never been a rational game. It's hard to, don't expect it to be. Just embrace the chaos. And this game showed that Ottawa really, even in those conditions, with one of the top teams in the league, they played well and got the tie out of it. So they've snuck up on us. I don't think anybody really is quite ready to understand that they're definitely in the top 2 or 3 teams in the league right now at this point in the season. And well, it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. What else did I have here? I guess winning the season series against other teams in their division won't matter to these teams anymore, because there's a 1-point difference, not a 2, and you're not going to end up tied with anyone for the division playoff picture unless you get another tie somehow down the road. And let's see, anything else? I thought the 22-22 tie for this game was appropriate in the end. There was just, I don't know how to describe that stuff with the control center. I mean, I know that the calls were all done by the letter of the law. And I know that they could have got the announcement out quicker, so that definitely would have helped. I'm not sure what I really want changed other than that, but I can just tell you this, something about that felt wrong. You know, I mean, years ago, many, many years ago, I woke up during an earthquake. We don't get many of them. And this was a small one. It's the only one I've ever been in, actually. And it wasn't a rumble, rumble, shake and things falling off the wall. All that it was just as I was lying in bed, waking up in the morning, the whole house kind of went ba-bump. And that was weird. I found out afterwards it was an earthquake. But at the moment, my monkey brain, the lizard brain, the one way back in the back is going, oh, something's wrong. Earth don't do that. Something's just wrong. And that's how I felt for most of Thursday night after the game was over. It's just wrong. I don't know why exactly. Lots of people have got their opinions on how to make it better. I don't know, but that was just wrong. That shouldn't happen. And I thought it was appropriate that we saw both teams celebrating. We saw the Red-Black fire off their fireworks after they thought they had the win. We had the Riders doing their celebrating and heading off to the locker rooms and all that. And then, so both teams celebrated, nobody won. Might be kind of appropriate for the way this whole weekend was in the CFL. Anyway, let's move on to Game 2. Calgary 25 at Toronto 39. Balance is restored. Let's see. I thought the first scoring drive, not the first drive, because Calgary went 2 and out on their first drive, and then Ottawa took it and marched it all the way down the field and scored, and then Calgary got it back and marched it all the way down the field and scored, and it looked like varsity offenses scrimmaging against JV defenses. And I thought this may be a real high-scoring game, until it wasn't. I guess maybe, 39-25, I guess is a high-scoring game. Yeah, that's well over 50 points, but it wasn't an impressive offensive game, let's say that. I really enjoy watching Isaiah Cage, the Argos left tackle, just because he looks full road warrior out there. He's got this big, nasty neck roll, and he's got these pads that look almost like a turtle shell. They're so big on him and powerful. He looks like he's out there to pound someone. I like that look. What else do I have here? Oh, yeah. Officials were definitely quick on the whistle most of the night. Third time that there was a fumble, they actually let it play out for a while to see what would happen. But the first few, they were quick on it, and they may have screwed Calgary on that one, and they may have screwed Toronto on one, because there was one of the fumbles where Judge with Calgary picked it up and was running, and maybe should have been let the play go out. It might have been a touchdown for them. I don't know. But then there was another one with, I think it was on Mayor's fumble, where Priester picked it up, and I don't think he got touched down. And as he was getting up and going, they whistled it dead there too. So they're very quick on the whistles. That seems to be the crew that Andre Proulx is running. And Andre is by far the best head ref we have in this league. He is fantastic. But I think he has to do a little bit of work with his crew and just get them to slow down on the whistles. You can always overturn it, go to the command center. That's why we've got them here, although nobody wants to talk about the command center right now. So anyway. Let's see, what else do I have? Oh, I do spend, and I started off the broadcast talking about people not form tackling, about making these ridiculous tackles that just bother me. So I should call out for big kudos to Demario Houston. Where did I have this now? 11:35 of the fourth quarter, if you want to go and check it out. Yeah, there was a little bit of a curl. He came in. It was a perfect form tackle. Stopped the receiver dead in his tracks. That is how the game is played. Good job, Demario. Like to see it. Likewise, at about 6:10 of the second, on the Toronto side, Robert Priester again timed up a blitz. It was a clinic on how you time up a blitz and execute it. Well worth going back and looking at if you hadn't seen it already. Also noticed, though, especially during the one screen pass, that Argos were playing their at right guard their rookie Anthony Vandal, who Vandal, I guess, who was an 8th round choice and did fairly well in there, all things considered. You know, he made mistakes, but it wasn't that bad, except on the one screenplay. And they've got to teach him that on a screenplay, it's maybe 1, maybe 2 count and release. It's not release, because that messed up a screenplay and almost got a quarterback killed. What else do we have? Oh, there was again. I've noticed when they have the mics on the Calgary sidelines, a lot of blue language coming out of that bench. They seem like an angry team. What else do we have? Oh, I loved actually Rant's return where he's got time out there to be directing traffic. Oh no, go block him. Go block him. I'll jog a bit more. Go him. And then I don't understand, why were the fans throwing toilet paper at him in the end zone afterwards? Is that a Toronto thing? It seems not right to me. I don't know. We have Trey Roberson was getting torched again, and I don't know, just a bad game with it. I do want to thank Kadeem Carey for some late game fantasy points that helped me get my measly 68.6, almost 50 points out of my 2 running backs, so 18 points from the rest of the team, and I think 6 or 7 of that was from defense. Anyway, oh, I also had, for whatever it's worth, I had Tyson, who went out hurt, so, you know, and I had Eugene Lewis, who 1 target, 0 points, so, and Justin Hardy, who caught a couple. But anyway, neither here nor there on all that. Let's see. Oh, and maybe the reason that the Stamps are losing it on the road and winning at home, I've been trying to figure this out. Maybe it is the uniforms. They are the ugliest uniforms in the damn league, and I guess at home people are used to them, so they got to go. But maybe when they're out on the road, they're feeling like, yeah, people are seeing me in this. Oh, I don't want to, and not playing. I don't understand how you build a uniform like that, how you design a uniform like that. Neither here nor there. Game 3. Hamilton 23 at Montreal 33. Bye-bye, Bo. I shouldn't sound so happy about that. You know, I mean, Bo's been a great player in this league. He's done good stuff and everything. But I've been really frustrated this season how everybody's talking about how he's back and he's playing so really well and everything. Bo is so amazing and Bo is this and Bo is that, but he's not winning any games. So I don't know how amazing it is. People are talking about Bo in the MOP conversation. You've got a 2-17 and your quarterback is in the MOP conversation? I don't think so. Oh, I wanted to thank TSN for screwing up with their programming. They had it on TSN 1. It was there. I've got it recording. I usually like to let the games go for half an hour, 40 minutes, so that I can skip through commercials and that. So that's my thing. But I realize now I'm going to have to stop doing that again this season, because TSN 1, it's on there. Great. I've got it. It's all set up to record. I go and do some stuff. I come back about 20 minutes later, and there's my recording of the golf. Even though it says clearly on the guide, CFL football. I bounced around the TSN channels, found it down, I think, on TSN 5 and watched it. So I only missed the first maybe 5 minutes of playing time. But that's just ridiculous. TSN, you're in the business of entertaining us. Don't screw us over like that, especially on a sport where you know it's a one-time thing. And by the time that tomorrow's gone, or tomorrow you may play a replay for it, by the time that's here, I'm not interested anymore because I've seen the highlights and everything. So just stop with that. Stop screwing around with your programming at the last moment to try and please somebody. And when you put it up there, leave it be. This is not the first time you've done it to me. I certainly hope it will be the last. That's bitchy me, though. That's old man. Old man bitch. Grumpy old man, yes. Powell did look, I will say, when they put Powell in, as early as they did, and again, we won't talk about that because others do, but at least he looked good. He wasn't fantastic, but the whole team seemed to take a little bit of a step up, just like happened in Edmonton with Trey to a degree. Not as much, but he may be a good answer for them going forward. Is he Trey light? He might be. Not sure. And again, it's easy to harp on the the official, so I'm trying not to do that. But there was a deep pass, and I should have put down the time when it happened. I didn't in my notes, but a deep pass down the sidelines that Hamilton made. I think it was to Bridges. Anyway, it was like a 30-yard pass, another 20 yards downfield, trying to close on that as the ball's thrown is the safety, who would have had, I think it was Dequoy, I couldn't tell for sure, but safety position, trying to come across, get to the play, and Keandre Smith is downfield blocking him even before the ball's in the air. Well, that doesn't become a blocking downfield penalty, I have no idea. Anyway, I did think, though, Kyle Wilson for Hamilton was playing head and shoulders above the rest of the defense. They weren't performing well. He was. There was one play where he absolutely destroyed Cole Speaker on just a little curl route. Blew him up completely. And let's see, my last thought on the game, maybe. Mark Lego's onside kick attempt at the end there was not the worst one this year, because Boris Beatty is still in the league and had that one against, I think it was Hamilton. Maybe Lego took notes from him. Anyway, on to Game 4, BC 16 at Edmonton 33. How soon can Nathan dress? They may be needing him. But confidence is an amazing thing. The Elk, who'd been the sad sack Elk for 7 games and were just falling apart and couldn't seem to keep things together when it mattered, didn't flinch when Trey went out of this game. A game and a half, game and a bit, whatever, of good, solid play seems to have brought their confidence right back up. They went out there and because it wasn't just Trey that was better with him in, it was the whole team. And the whole team kept playing better. Even MBT came out and looked looser and more relaxed and more in command of the game. So, see, it just takes a little bit for a team to see what they're doing. I would not be surprised if they make a run. Will they get in the playoffs? Last week I was saying no. This week I'm not sure. Again, may depend how long Trey is out for. And I had nothing to do with that. By the way, I didn't pick Trey anywhere near my fantasy, so don't go blaming me for that. What else do I have to talk about there? You're watching, if you like me, at 7:48 of the second. That throw that Trey made to Dylan Mitchell was just ridiculous. Man, you can't play quarterback better than that. You can't. Noticed that there was definitely a smart play by Mark Corte in about halfway through the fourth quarter. The Elk had the ball. They were down within field goal range, but not too terribly far into it. There's a running play. He's in the scrum. His helmet popped off. He just stopped dead immediately. Let everybody flow around him and stood there. It was perfect. It's what you're supposed to do. The rule says your helmet's off, you stop. If he'd moved at all, if he'd kept moving, the refs would have had a chance to, even if he's trying to get out of the way of somebody else, it gives them a chance to throw a flag. It takes them back out of field goal range. Might have changed the outcome of the game. But smart play. Love to see that again. But we talked earlier about the whole Wonderlic test. On average, center is the most intelligent position in football. The players that play at center, not the actual position. Why won't he throw to Lewis? Why won't MBT throw to Lewis? Again, 1 target, no catches, 0 points in my fantasy. And I also kind of felt like this was an interesting thing. The tables got flipped in this game. For most of the season, the Elk have been in games and playing hard, and then as it got into the late third and early fourth, they started tightening up and were worried they were going to lose and started making mistakes. This game, they just kept it on cruise control, went right on through, and it was the Lions who were starting to panic and make bad mistakes towards the end. So that's nice to see that turnaround. Well, how long it'll stay, I don't know. Like I said, depends how long till VA's back or they can get Nathan into uniform. But without one of those two at quarterback, the BC Lions are a completely different team. So I guess that's about all that I've got for the games. I've started now, because all the podcasts are doing it, or most of them are giving little bits of gambling advice on the games coming up and what you should do and what not. And so my gambling advice for this week is don't. Okay. Extra points. What have we got here? Just a few extra things. Now that Nathan Rourke is back, and if If you haven't seen the news yet, he's signed with the Lions. There was no bidding war. There was no hoop-da-da, who's going to get him. He came and signed with the Lions. So are they the shoe-in for the Cup now? I would think maybe, but this league, I've been a fan for way too long to think that there's anything certain here. It's just going to be interesting to see how that contributes to the chaos. I also, on the whole command center thing, I think one of the things that they could do, and I think I said this in a much earlier episode, but just I may be back to repeating myself already, but don't do the replays in slow motion. The refs on the field are having to make a call at full speed. That call should be reviewed at full speed. If you can't see within a full speed play whether the ball was out before a knee touched the ground, or if a DB got to a receiver a little too soon for PI, if you can't see that in real time, it shouldn't be a penalty or it shouldn't be an overturn. So let's go to that. Yeah, keep the command center, cut down a bunch of what they do, take them out of this interjecting into the game when they're not called on, leave them there. If they don't do anything but take a challenge, and if there is a challenge, they review it in full speed and make their calls. That, I think, will make the game faster and give them like a 60-second limit on how long it takes, not like whatever. By the time they made their decision and even announced it in the game on Thursday, there were players in the locker room. So I think that could improve us a lot. Let me know what you think. Put it down in comments, please. Mark your comments down here so that I'll know. Are you all with me on this, or do you not like it? Like I said, it's a bad weekend for tackling. I felt like the defenses were playing flag football mostly. Here he goes. Here he goes. Oh, I'll grab that. Instead of just getting in front and making a tackle. Everyone's waiting with bated breath for the Chad Kelly ruling. I've got my fingers crossed that the league's going to do the right thing and just make the suspension indefinite. But we'll find out. And, my final disclaimer, which I did say a bit earlier. Despite being the quarterback killer, don't come after me about Trey. I had nothing to do with him. He was nowhere near my fantasy teams. That he did all on his own. Okay, so that's just about everything that's here. I hope you've enjoyed this. If you have, you can check out my other two shows, that the fantasy, like I said, Old Man Plays CFL Fantasy, where I give a few tips and talk about who I'm using and why I'm taking them for that week. Might be worth watching just to do the opposite, the way my scoring's going, and or at least don't take the same quarterback as me. And the other one, Old Man Plays CFL Pick'em in under a minute, which again is just a quick little fast-fire thing on which teams I'm taking and why, and that may help you out a bit. If you have enjoyed this one and you want to see those other shows, hit the subscribe button when it comes up there. Otherwise, please make your offerings to the almighty logarithm. Share this with friends if you've got anyone who might be interested. Rate, review. Like I said already, subscribe, and most important, put down comments, because especially if they're comments that help me get better. Constructive criticism, I'm here and I'm open for. So please, help me get better and help the show get bigger. And that's about all I've got to say for now. So until next week, get the hell off my lawn.